this is Brennan Wilmington of the Left Turn Network, and welcome back to another Lumen Stock Car Invitational race, season number 4, race number 10. And of course, this race is at the Daytona International Speedway. We are here for um, we'll say the fourth running of the Lumen 500, although this race has been around under different names since the diecast days. This is the fourth year where we are running it as an NR race, and the third year which it is a Lumen Stock Car Invitational race. And I don't need to stress that much how big this race is on the calendar. Daytona, obviously, a uh, a massive uh, a massive place to go to. It's the world center of racing for a reason. And last year's race was one of the best races that we've ever run. That was the 100th Left Turn Network race and the 50th LSCI race. Not holding those milestones this year, but this year could still make its own milestone with how this race is going to be. Of course, this being our equivalent of the Daytona 500, this is the biggest race on the schedule. We've had a whole week of build up to this race. We've got 38 drivers ready to go, and this is the largest field in LSCI history as well, just to make it even bigger here this year. Joined alongside me for one last time this Speed Weeks, it's Anthony McClure. And Anthony, you've seen just about everything from this Speed Week, so what are you expecting heading into the main event today from what you've seen?
Well, I expect some good racing and some incredible battles. Just the duels were very good, very solid. A lot of three wide, but now there's a there's a lot more cars. There isn't like 23 cars. Was it like 23 cars in the duels?
It was 23, yes.
So yeah, not 23 cars in this main event. There are more cars, so you got to deal with more drivers and hope this time you can stay out of trouble because surely there's going to be a big one at some point, and you gotta be lucky. Just that's how Daytona works. You gotta be lucky, and you gotta follow the strategy of the leaders, your teammates, whatever. Uh, and that's about it.
Yeah. In terms of LSCI races at Daytona, season one's race was a crash fest. Season two's race was pretty clean, and season three was pretty clean up until the end. So we could really see anything here in this race. It's cloudy, it's pretty warm, pretty similar conditions to last year's race, pretty similar rules package as well to last year's race. Of course, the biggest difference though is last year we were running equal ratings. This year we have a bit of a difference in ratings. And Anthony, do you think that will affect the race in comparison to last year on its own?
Well, speed, super speedways are supposed to be like the great equalizer, you know? Anybody could win it with any type of equipment, but I'm sure it's going to affect some of those drivers in less powerful equipment. As we saw in the duels, some of the worse cars kind of lost the draft and were never really competitive. So I'm sure that's going to happen in the big event.
Yeah, we didn't really actually see anyone lose the draft entirely. We saw a couple of them kind of hang on and not really make any progress, and that's about the worst that we saw in the duels. But we've got a bigger pack now. And honestly, I think that helps some of these slower cars keep up a little bit more just because, when you get into smaller packs of like 5 or 6 cars, you're going faster than you would in a giant 38 car pack because you're more organized. So I think that is going to help the drivers. Of course, we also have a pit stop right around halfway in this race. Last year, we saw some fuel mileage. We shouldn't be seeing that again this year unless the cautions fall weird. But that is something that they're going to have to try and get through. We have yet to see a complete green flag cycle here uh, at Daytona. We saw one at Talladega last year. But when they tried it at Daytona, they wrecked. One car spun out and caused a caution, and that kind of messed with the outcome of the race. But we'll see if that pit road merge could potentially be hazardous again. And even the amateur series race last year, although the merge did not directly cause an accident there was a caution right when they were starting to pit. So the pit lane could be treacherous for sure for these guys. But of course, the biggest thing you got to look out for is the big one. When they're racing in these large packs, you know, if somebody tries to make an aggressive move at the front, makes a little bit of a mistake, misjudges it a bit, and all of a sudden half the field is wiped out. And that is something that we saw last year with about 12 laps to go. So it is possible we see it again this year. Here is your starting lineup for the 2025 Lumen 500. On pole is the fastest man in Daytona. It's the 55 of Michael Harvin, who sat on pole with a 200.848 mile per hour qualifying time last week. And he also got to start on pole in the duel as well. I believe he finished sixth in that race. Alongside him is the 85 of Charlie McCarron, also starting on the front row. Row number 2, you've got our dual winners, and this is a bit of a surprise. Damon Kirby in the 13 and Isabella Fitzmaurice in the L1, both of them in their first Lumen 500s, won their dual races, so very impressive for those two. Row number 3, Holly Martin in the 6, Kobe Hollenbeck in the 79. Row 4 is JT Boyd in the 77 and the 99 of Akia Tajima. Row 5, we have the points leader Tim Berry and the 81 of Jack Gino. Row number 6, Vinny Scholes in the number 62 and Corbin Taps in the number 16. Row number 7, a couple of surprises, the 24 of Cooper Spur and the 33 of Cheryl Simmons, who it seems like every year manages to outperform this car. We'll see what she can do this year. Row number 8, it appears, we've got your defending champion, the number 1 of Kevin DuPont, and the 3 of George Bryant. Then it's the 92 car of Kate Summers, last year's runner-up in this race, and the 2 car of Rhea Wickham in her first Lumen 500. Then it's the 40 of Adrian Wheeler alongside the 20 car of Martin Swain. The 15 of Montana Sherman in his final Lumen 500, running that RMS throwback scheme. And alongside him is Latanya Gray, who was unsponsored in qualifying in the duels, raced her way in, and she picked up Caribbean Jacks as a sponsor as the last minute. So this car now has full funding, and it's one of the things that we say: if you make the Lumen 500 with blank quarter panels, they're not going to be blank for much longer. Then it's the 18 of Zach Dearman and the 45 of James Harvin, who's in his first Lumen 500. The 19 car of Jake Sidney, also in his first Lumen 500, alongside the 32 of Trevor Stewart. Then it's the 39 of Laken Herndon and the 58 of Joanna Clark. It's the 70 car of Andrew Kreider, the hometown driver from Ocala, Florida, and the 41 of Karina Willis Calloway, who won this race in season 1, although it wasn't referred to as the Lumen 500 in that running. But for all intents and purposes, she has won this race before. Then it's the 50 car of Jacob Lopez and the 52 car of Ashley Blake. And then we've got your last 2 winners of this race. Starting deep in the field, it's the 29 of JB Chanot and the 88 of Billy Smith. Billy Smith won it last year. Chanot won it in season number 2, and it's still both of their only wins in LSCI. Then it's the 66 of Tyler Landry and the 8 of Darren Walker. And rounding out the field is the 9 of Lori Jackson and the 27 of Adrienne Pearson. We had 8 cars miss the field for this race, which is actually less than last year. So, hold on a second. There we go. We had 8 cars miss the field, which is less than last year. Last year we had 9, but that's because we have 3 more spots in this race compared to last year. I'm going to quickly pull up that list of DNQs. It's the 57 of Shauna Everett, the 42 of Lulu Connie, Rebecca Raymond, Ellie Adams, Tamarin Bellinger, Haley Taps, Jamie McJasmina, and JC Kreider all failed to make the race. So, that's a lot of cars going home. Obviously, this is the biggest race of the year. We've got the largest entry list and thus the most DNQs, even with the 3 extra starting spots.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the field of 38 will roll off the back straightaway here at Daytona. Make sure everyone gets off fine. That was from the previous attempt. Anthony, This is the big question. Who do you think is going to etch their name into LSCI history forever and win the Lumen 500 today?
Well, I think I'm going to go with someone who is starting a bit deeper in the pack. Number 3, George Bryan. Um, I did the top 10 challenge and I chose him to be victorious in this race. Um, he hasn't really done a lot during these speed weeks, but he's a veteran. He's raced in this event before. Maybe he's saving up his speed for the big one, and we'll see him in victory lane after all is said and done.
Yeah, he's driving for Patriot Racing Incorporated, which is the team that won this race last year with Billy Smith, so definitely a fast car for George Bryan here during this race. The 55 of Michael Harvin and the 85 of Charlie McCarran are going to lead them to the green, and we are underway in the 2025 Lumen 500. Coming out of turn number 4, it's your dual winners, Isabella Fitzmaurice and Damon Kirby. Fitzmaurice is going to lead lap number 1 in her first ever Lumen 500. Everyone's going to make it to the line without wrecking, which, this is our second attempt because they did that. Fitzmaurice out in front, Damon Kirby in second. Michael Harvin has fallen back to third alongside JT Boyd. And they're already 3 wide throughout the entire field, maybe looking at 4 wide, but it looks like Boyd's able to tuck into line and not push the issue.
Yeah, boy, if they went 4 wide this early, I'm not sure what would have happened.
Nothing good, that's for sure. Corbin Tapp, Cheryl Simmons, Rhea Wickham all moving on the inside on the initial start. But Fitzmaurice staying out in front for now. Looks like the 16 is going to have a lane to the bottom to try and make it 3 wide for second.
Taps is quickly making his way through the field. He's got a fast 16 machine.
Taps is one of our better super speedway racers. He's already won 3 super speedway events in LSCI, including the amateur series and dual races, so he's definitely a threat on these kinds of tracks. How about Cheryl Simmons and Rhea Wickham, both driving for some of the smaller teams in the field, and they're up here in the top 5 here on the start of the race.
That's pretty impressive for both of those teams and for both of those drivers. I mean, Rhea Wickham is pretty good in the amateur series, but hasn't really gotten a full ride here yet as Taps goes for the lead.
He's got all the help down on the bottom from Cheryl Simmons, and now they kind of side by side behind him. Adrian Wheeler, Kate Summers making their way up, and the start of this race could look like a cycle race, and that's what it's appearing to be, at least for now. But once we get some of those faster cars up at the front, you're going to see a little bit less cycling and a little bit more battling between those drivers up in the top 10. Wheeler's going to take them 3 wide as Fitzmaurice now gets shoved up to the outside. That was a close moment there. Tajima almost chopped the nose off of Vinny Schulz, but thankfully we're still green. No incidents yet here as we complete lap number 4. It is now Taps and Wheeler leading the field, with Martin Swain trying to move into third.
Well, looks like Wheeler's trying to go for the lead.
Wheeler to the inside of the 16 of Corbin Taps. He's going to try and lead a lap here in the Lumen 500. Jake Sidney, Joanna Clark down on the inside lane. Clark had a great run here last year until it was undone by fuel mileage at the end. She's looking for another good one here. Karina Willis-Callaway, who started out towards the back, is making her way up the field on that inside lane. They're 2x2 up ahead. Wheeler and Tapp still fighting for the lead. Jake Sidney looks like he's going to try and make it 3 wide, though, going through the tri-oval. Coming to lap number 5. Looks like Wheeler led that lap, but Sidney's got the momentum on the inside. And it was 3/1000ths of a second at the line. Imagine if that was the finish.
Oh my goodness.
move the 19 of Sydney up to the front. And once again, a driver in his first Lumen 500. These newcomers to this race have been very impressive so far. Sydney's going to look to lead a lap. He's getting the help up top. Joanna Clark gets put in the middle. Here comes Lakin Herndon and a train of Toyotas on the bottom. I think I see 6 of them in a row down there. Mix of a mix of Columbia Motorsports cars, NH cars, Pacific Racing cars, and the one Connie Twins Motorsports car of Karina Willis Callaway, who's able to get underneath the 39. Almost got cut off there. Another close moment here at the front of the field.
Well, it's not really shocking that the Toyotas are working together. We saw in one of the duels, all the Columbia drivers were working with each other a ton. And so I guess that's translating to all Toyota drivers for the main event.
And that's something that you see a lot in the real life super speedway races. Not so much here. Joanna Clark just slid down to break him up, though. Big move there from the 58 to get back down to the inside. And we know that inside lane is very powerful here at the start of the race, especially with
Herndon.
a pack this big. Here comes Herndon with the push from JB Chanot down on the inside. He's going to get underneath Jake Sidney, and he's going to try and take the lead of this thing. And here you see them working together once again. Columbia Motorsports did a great job with teamwork back in duel number 2. And, we saw a lot of teamwork in the duels, just considering how many teams had all of their cars, like, especially the big teams, all 4 of their cars in the same duel. So they kind of had to work together. JB Chanot, though, is not working with the 39 anymore. She's going for the lead herself, and she's looking to win this race for the second time, which, if winning it once makes you a legend, imagine what winning it twice makes you. But Joanna Clark says, I want to try and lead this thing in the Diamond Motorsports 58. This is the only Diamond Motorsports car in the race. Her teammate Tamara Bellinger didn't make the race. And here she is, back up front here at Daytona. Checking the back of the field, Andrew Kreider looks like he is struggling to keep up with the pack, but everybody else seems to be doing a good job of keeping up. LaTanya Gray, Montana Sherman, your pick to win, George Bryan, chilling out back, but not necessarily the worst place to be at the start of the race. It gives you a little bit more time to avoid the chaos if we get it, but they are 3 by 3 throughout this entire field, and this is quite a sight to see for the fans, isn't it?
It's very impressive, to say the least, but how long can they keep this up before someone makes a mistake is my question right now.
They're doing a good job keeping it clean so far. Joanna Clark leading that inside lane rather, but the Columbia cars are back nose to tail up top. You got a line of 3 Toyotas up there. Jake Sidney's kind of by himself in the middle, and that's going to push JB Chanot back out to the lead. She got the help she needed from the teammate, and now she's back out front. Firmly out in front now, as she was, stuck in the middle 3 wide before. Joanna Clark going to try and block the lanes here to try and make her way up into second, but Akia Tajima's got other plans. Vinny Scholes on the inside as well. Tyler Landry, Laurie Jackson, who started on the back row, all trying to use that inside lane here early to get themselves the track position they need.
Seems like that Columbia partnership is working very well these speed weeks, and it's showing here in the Lumen 500 currently.
Akia Tajima pushed the 29 out in front and is now going for the lead himself. So they were working together.
They don't really have a lot of help.
Yeah, the rest of the pack's going to close up on him. Here comes Jake Sidney in the 19 with a run. But it looks like they'll be able to cover the spot, at least cover the lead, unless Sidney has more of a run than we think.
Sidney.
He's by himself, though.
Might have a chance.
He got under.
Yeah, he got under.
He's got to hope the 66 and 9 get to him, though. Laurie Jackson for Checkered Flag Racing going down to the inside of the 66 of Landry. Going to try and make it 3 wide for third. And here comes Sidney, still looking to the inside of Akia Tajima, looking for that help. And he's got a couple of Fords coming on the inside lane. Ashley Blake as well, trying to line up the Fords and help the 19 get to the lead.
Looks like the Fords are now working together instead of the Toyotas.
Well, the 99 keeps going up to the high side to try and get a shove from the 29, but the 29 has not been able to deliver as good of a push as maybe he wanted. So we'll see if that ends up working out a little bit better. But we're 13 laps into this thing. They've been 3x3 throughout this entire race, and we've had no issues whatsoever. The 9 car is doing an interesting strategy here, moving up to the outside. Blake's going to get underneath her.
Not sure if that was the right strategy.
These two are still side by side. They've been side by side for a good couple of laps now. The 19 of Jake Sidney and the 99 of Akiya Tajima. They've had an incredible battle so far. Tajima's been able to fend him off, but I feel like it's only a matter of time before the 19 has that push that he needs, and he might get it here from Ashley Blake, but she's going to get shuffled in the middle lane, and here comes your points leader, Tim Berry, showing up in the front for the first time.
Speaking of Tim Berry, wanting revenge from last year's championship blunder, and he's doing a very good job of it.
Yeah, his worst finish this year has been 13th, but this is a big wild card race for sure. You know,
For sure.
Barry could definitely have a bad result here, but right now he's up to 3rd. He's doing a great job in that 11 car. Jacob Lopez, Adrian Pearson, the last place starter. Both of the last row starters are up here in the top 10, and it only took them 15 laps to get up here. Now, I do want to point out, in about 10-ish laps, probably a little more than 10 laps, we're going to start seeing them come into the pit lane. And last year, that's when the trouble started, so we're hoping that doesn't happen again, but definitely something to watch out for as the 19 goes back to the inside of the 99 for the race lead. The 11's not going down to help him, and they're 3x3 behind. Barry's going to stay in behind Tajima.
So Sydney right now is a sitting duck. He has no help, but he's trying his best to get the lead, but I think it's not going to work out. Tajima, he was pretty good in the duels, Akiya Tajima, so it's not very shocking that he's leading right now and leading a lot of laps.
Yeah, Tajima's looking like the best car here early in the race. He's been able to stay out in front for quite a few laps, even despite challenges from Jake Sidney. And he could be an early favorite to win this thing, but of course there's still plenty of time for things to change up. And not necessarily, definitely not necessarily going to see Tajima up here at the end of the race, because we know how crazy and unpredictable these pack racing is. But last year, Billy Smith led a lot of laps early in the race, and then he got shuffled back, and he was able to make his way up and win the race. So Tajima's definitely putting himself in a good position in terms of finishing well in this event. As Sydney's going to get underneath Tim Berry, and they're going to go side by side for 2nd behind Tajima. Jacob Lopez in 4th, Adrian Pearson up to 5th. And remember, she almost won this race last year driving the 52 car. You know that she's hungry for her first career win in racing. So there's a lot of things that she's going to be willing to do to get this win, especially considering how close she got last year.
Yeah, she really wants that first career win, especially how rough of a season it's been. Definitely a win would make this season slightly better.
Absolutely. Pearson has been eclipsed by her teammate JT Boyd, and that's really been the dynamic at NH Motorsports. The 77's usually pretty good, top 10 in points, and the 27's running well behind. They were hoping maybe the driver change would change that, but it really hasn't. But Pearson's running good in this race so far, so she's doing a good job. And it seems like seems like she's pretty good at this race, especially considering where she was running last year. Interestingly enough, Ashley Blake was able to make her way up into 4th from the middle lane, and they're starting to string out going single file. At least the front 5 are. Perhaps the front 6.
If Ashley Blake can get a good finish in this race, that would turn this whole season around, I would say. Well, maybe not, but make it slightly better. I mean, if you just finished well in this race and you're having a terrible season, maybe a top 5 finish, maybe even winning it would just validate everything that has happened so far this season.
If Ashley Blake had any luck this year, it would all be bad. So, yeah, it seems like something happens to her every single week. She usually runs pretty good, top 10, top 15 in that 52 car, but every week it's just a different thing, and it's just nice to see her up front. Even if it's only on lap number 19 of 50, Uh, but it's nice to see her up in third here for a change. And they're 3 wide behind them again. JB Chanot in the 29 and the 8 of Darren Walker. Look who else is making her way up through the field.
Latanya Gray.
Started
Oh, boy.
mid-pack, was at the back when we last saw her, and now she's made her way up. This car, she basically put it together by herself in the All-Star Speed Team garage. All-Star Speed Team is an amateur series team. And you know the amateur series teams can't enter in Cup, but this is Latanya's own car. She got it from Cooper Spur. We kind of told the whole story in qualifying, but she has been very impressive this Speed Weeks given the limited resources she has. And here she is up in the top 10 racing with some of the big dogs.
Yeah, very impressive run for her this Speed Weeks. In the duels, she made it. And so far, she's running very well. To start off this 500, as there goes Ashley Blake trying to get second.
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth kind of serpentining on the front straightaway there, almost like it was an Indy car between these front 6 or 7 cars, and that's resulted in a lot of drivers trying to get underneath other drivers going into turn 1. Tajima still comfortably out in front as they battle behind him. Blake is trying to get this second spot away from Tim Berry. Berry and Fearson kind of left out to dry on the high side in the corners, but they get a little bit of a draft on the exit of the corners. Now they're going to go 3 wide. Blake left a room for JB Chanot to get under, and they're crashing in the back.
Oh,
Jack
trouble!
Gino, Adrian Wheeler, and others. Gino looks like he got the worst of it. The caution's going to come out. Trevor Stewart, Kobe Hollenbeck, Kevin DuPont. Oh boy. And it looks like it might just be them. It happened in the back of the field. The caution is out. Racing back to the line. Tajima and Chanot are 1-2. And we'll see if they can maintain that as they head in. And oh boy, this caution came out at an interesting time. Tajima will lead them back to the line. Make sure they behave themselves on the cooldown lap. Sometimes they like to get into each other, but generally doesn't happen. This isn't the BBMC version, so there's less stack-ups, but sometimes it happens, so we got to keep an eye on them. But it looks like they're going to behave themselves. And there might have been another incident in turn 3. There's some smoke up there, but it could have also just been the 81 or 79 going through the grass down on the apron. Okay, there was a little bit of contact back there. The 33 now has front-end damage that she's going to have to repair. But other than that, pretty civil. I don't see any other cars with damage. But this came out at an interesting time. We're at lap 23 of 50. I think they can go about 25 laps, 26 laps, maybe 27 on fuel. So they're going to be cutting it really close. They're all going to come in and pit here, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
but
looks like it.
This is going to be really close to the end of the race.
That'll be interesting. Some fuel strategy to end the race.
Kobe Hollenbeck and Jack Gino out of the race. I saw 5 cars with heavy damage as a result of that. Obviously 2 of them already out, but we'll have to see how Trevor Stewart, Adrian Wheeler, and Kevin DuPont are able to fix that damage. We'll see if Simmons and Montana Sherman, who appears to have some rear-end damage, which shouldn't affect him as much as front-end damage on the 33, but still would want to try and fix that.
Well.
Who had damage?
Clark.
Joanna Clark in the 58 car. Yeah, she's got some rear-end damage as well. But again, that should be minor. She should be okay. Cooper Spur did not pit. Tim Berry got out of the pit lane first, then Tajima, Walker, Blake, and Chanot. But the 24 car is staying out. I don't see why... Actually, you know what? I do see why you would want to stay out potentially. This could be to limit the amount of fuel that you'll have to save for the rest of the race, and maybe try and refuel a lap later than everybody else. I actually do see the logic in doing this, although Cooper Spur would be giving up any track position he had. But if he was in the back, I don't know where he was before this, but if he was in the back, this could be a smart move. Uh-oh.
Oh, what is going on?
Looks like we've had a bit of a stack up here. Oh, and we're still having problems. The 92 is getting turned around. And this is also something that did not happen in the test races, but I don't see any damage on the cars, so maybe they'll be fine. Yeah, just a bit of chicanery under caution, but thankfully it is under caution, so there shouldn't be any major damage on any of these guys. Tajima looks like he's got some right side damage, though. That might have come from the pit lane. Might have gotten into somebody. Spur's
Hopefully
still
that doesn't affect him.
Yeah, Spur's still staying out. I imagine he's trying to wait until the last minute before he comes in and pits. So this could be a smart move for Spur to try and make it on one more stop if these guys can't make it. DuPont is still on the racetrack, but it looks like all the others that were in that crash are now out of the race. Well, we'll go ahead and show a replay of what happened, and then we'll get you back to the restart here at the Daytona International Speedway for the 2025 Lumen 500. 4 wide in the back of the pack touched off our first caution of the day. Kate Summers, Holly Martin, Joanna Clark, and Kevin DuPont get together. And DuPont goes around, hooks the 40 of Adrian Wheeler, the 81 of Jack Gino, the 32 of Trevor Stewart. Cheryl Simmons also gets damage from this accident. I thought she might have gotten that under caution, but it appears that she actually got that in the wrecks, so she was in that. And then you saw the hard hit there and more hits coming. The 79 of Hollenbeck didn't have that much damage until he got into the 32 there. But just a shame for all these guys. They were already running towards the back, maybe saving their stuff to avoid an accident, but ended up getting involved in one anyway. And thankful that the 4 wide didn't happen further up the field, but it still took out quite a few cars and damaged a few others. So, definitely not ideal. And this is definitely going to mess with the fuel strategy, I think, because just because of when this caution happened. But Trevor Stewart, he got taken out in a wreck last year. He probably is going to get taken out in one here. Kobe Hollenbeck definitely out. Jack Gino's probably done. Wheeler's probably done as well, and DuPont might be able to keep going. I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, definitely a big crash there in the front stretch tri-oval, and took out quite a few good race cars.
So it's about close to 4 wide here coming off of turn 4, and Summers just slides up a bit, makes contact with Martin and Kevin DuPont, and they make contact, and that sends DuPont and Wheeler around. Nowhere to go for Gino or Trevor Stewart, and Hollenbeck seems like he was maybe going to avoid the accident, but then just got piled up with Gino and Trevor Stewart, so just bad luck there for the 79, and yeah, that's how the whole thing transpired, that entire accident.
Well, Kia Tajima is probably going to be slower now because of this pit lane collision that he's had with the 77 car of JT Boyd. Boyd's pitting right in front of him. Boyd was trying to go in. Tajima was trying to go out, and they collide, and there's a big gash on the right side of the 99 now. He is now going to be restarting in second, but I imagine he's probably going to lose quite a few spots, and that's also going to hinder the day of JT Boyd as well, as he now has front-end damage as a result of that. Well, maybe he's going to be fine, but, that could have also done some damage to the interior of the car as well. I can't imagine that running into the side of a car in the pits is going to be very good for your front end, but yeah, it looks like he's having an extended stay, or maybe not. But yeah, Boyd's probably going to be struggling as a result of that as well. But the big one, of course, is a Kia Tajima with that big gash in the right side. He was the dominant car that first run. He came into the pits as the leader, and he's probably not going to be a contender anymore. Welcome back here at Daytona. We're wrapping up our first caution of the race on lap 26. We'll restart on lap number 27 here. 4 cars out of the race due to that accident. Adrian Wheeler, Trevor Stewart, Jack Gino, and Kobe Hollenbeck. A couple of those cars were very fast as well. Interesting development here as Akiya Tajima, who's restarting in second, does have some right side damage, so he might be a little bit off the pace. And that's a shame because he was looking very fast in that first stint. We'll have to see how much that right side gash, which I presume he got in the pits. We will show it on replay if we can catch it. It is to be determined to see how much that will affect him. But Tim Berry is your current leader. Tajima is in second. Then it's Darren Walker, Ashley Blake, JB Chanot, Isabella Fitzmaurice, Adrian Fearson, George Bryan, Latanya Gray, and Lori Jackson rounding out your top 10. Cooper Spurt did come in last time to top off on fuel, so he is now at the back of the field. Berry is on the gas, and we are back racing here in the Lumen 500. Moves being made already on the restart. The 01, the 14, looking low. The 52, also going to try and get underneath the 8 car. This 99 is not looking very fast in terms of getting up to speed, and that's allowing the 11 to get out to a huge lead. But that's not what you want here at Daytona.
No, he's a setting duck right now.
Yeah, they could all draft up to him, but the 99 definitely now looking off the pace, and that is a shame for Akiya Tajima because, again, he was looking very fast before he got that damage.
Luck.
Blake going to lead the charge here in second to try and get back up to Berry. We'll have to see if Berry's able to hold them off here, because they're going to catch him here probably on this lap, and Blake is closing in on him. Latanya Gray has moved up to 4th place.
Oh dear.
James Harvin is up to 5th, Karina Willis-Callaway 6th, and all these guys are trying to go down to the inside to avoid the 99 of Akiya Tajima. The 33 and the 1 are off the pace. The 24 also looks like he's off the pace. Is something wrong with him? No, it doesn't look like it. So that strategy definitely didn't work out. JT Boyd is holding on to the draft, and that is a driver that a lot of people had in the top 10 in the top 5 even in their top 10 challenges. So Boyd doesn't look like he has any damage, but maybe just getting trapped behind some of the slower cars hurt him there.
I saw some rear damage on the 77, so, but it was only minor.
James Harvin up to 3rd. Corbin Taps, Rhea Whitcomb down on the inside. We got a train of Chevys now trying to work together. And again, they're all from different teams. But they weren't able to pass Tim Berry. Berry's been able to keep the lead from Ashley Blake and all these guys. James Harvin, Rhea Whitcomb, Billy Smith, last year's winner, trying to go 2 in a row. And this pack is looking really interesting right now because we probably got a couple of cars with minor damage that's slowing them down a little bit. The 99, possibly the 27 as well. So it's kind of making small breaks in the field, but not major ones. Yeah, the 27 has some rear end damage, so Fearson off the pace, and I believe you pointed out Boyd might have some as well. So that's a tough break for NH Motorsports. Oh, Isabella Fitzmaurice is being affected the most by this 99 car. She has to drop all the way to the back of this pack. And up front, Corbin Taps and Billy Smith. Looking underneath Tim Berry here. Here comes the 16 of Taps. And he is going to try and pass his teammate to try and get to the lead. He's going to do it right here, but Billy Smith might just look right back underneath. He's got help from Damon Kirby. Taps is able to cut him off, though, before he got underneath.
It's a good block. And now he's following Taps.
You got to be careful with those blocks. You don't want to block too aggressively, otherwise you'll cause a wreck. But so far, they've been pretty good with the blocks. Damon Kirby back up to 3rd. He's shown some very good race pace here today. So that's definitely been a highlight for this Checker Flag Racing organization. They've been struggling this season. But Kirby has been absolutely fantastic this weekend. And here is Andrew Kreider, who was struggling in that first run, and he has made his way up into the top 5. Boy, imagine the cheers if he goes to the front in front of the home crowd.
Imagine. Well, he's in the top 5.
He is in the top 5. He's got a chance to get up there, but these top 4, well, they were going single file, and then Barry decided to go underneath Billy Smith for second. And we are winding down the laps here. We've only got 19 laps to go. Still plenty of race left, but some of these drivers towards the back, and the back does appear to be fanning out a little bit. Some of these drivers in the back, they're going to have to start making some moves if they want to get themselves into contention. Namely drivers like Lopez and Sydney, Kate Summers, Montana Sherman, and Lori Jackson. And I believe all these cars are at least minorly damaged. They shouldn't be too far off the pace to be a hazard. However, these two cars potentially might need to be pulled off the track, the one and the 33. We'll keep an eye on them. Well, the McPicky cars are now 1-2. Here comes George Bryan, your pick to win, Anthony. He's up to third now. He's made his way up here. He was towards the back for most of that race, but now he's showing up when it matters.
Yeah, I think both George Bryan and Andrew Kreider were playing the strategy of just waiting in the back long enough until near the end of the race, and then you'll be competitive. You'll get back in front. And it's working perfectly.
We got like a tail of cars behind this lead pack. Some of them are minorly damaged, some of them are not, but we'll see how many of them are able to keep up. Here comes the 88 of Billy Smith making a big move into turn number 1, trying to win this race for the second year in a row. He's got some momentum, but the 16 once again is going to block him. And it's a battle between Patriot Racing Inc. and McPicky Motorsports up here. Top 4, all Chevrolet. And they're going to form up into their tandems here as Brian's going to try and push Smith. No, Brian's going to go underneath Smith. And they're going to go 3 wide for second. Boy, he faked me out there. I thought he was going to help him, but instead he goes up to second on his own. Andrew Kreider now going to move into third. Charlie McCarron, who started in second, is now up here looking for her first career win. Vinny Scholes is also up here in this pack. Both of them have a chance. They've been in every LSCI race, all 78 of them, but have yet to score a victory. But they've both got a shot here. They're in this lead pack. And here comes McCarron to the inside of Kreider. Here comes Brian to the inside of Taps. And they're going to go side by side for the lead heading into turns 3 and 4.
Perfect time to move out of line. You got help from McCarron now.
There's more help up top, but McCarron could give Brian a push here to try and get him out in front. And Brian will lead this lap. It's a matter of if he can stay up there because, again, there's more cars up top. But Brian has the preferred line in the corner. And our lead pack appears to have 23 cars. And those are the guys that are probably still going to have a shot for this. Unless we have a fuel mileage finish or another caution, which another caution's not out of the picture considering these guys are still going 3x3 throughout this pack. McCarron now going to move up into second. James Harvin, Isabella Fitzmaurice down on the inside lane. Taps was able to get the lead back away from Brian. We'll see if one of these other cars on the inside has anything for the 16 of Taps, who's looking like he's pretty strong here in the late going of the race. Karen looks like she's going to get a run coming out of turn number 2. We'll see if she goes anywhere with it. She looked to the inside. Now she's getting back behind the 16. Maybe a little bobble off the corner there that kind of stalled out her run.
I don't think Harvin was close enough to help her.
Yeah, also maybe. A lack of help from behind.
Yeah.
Will McCarron try and go underneath this time? Taps is giving her the room, but McCarron does not take the run. She did not have enough momentum to go down there. Harvin and Fitzmaurice working to try and get up there. There's a line of Chevys down on the inside lane, all the way back to Tyler Landry. So maybe not too keen on helping the Honda of Charlie McCarron in this situation.
Yeah, maybe not.
And I'm going to go ahead and DQ these two cars before they cause any problems. They're too off the pace. They're going to break up the pack, so we're just going to have them pull in here.
Oh, McCarron.
McCarran looked underneath there, didn't get the run. Isabella Fitzmaurice
don't
now
know why
leading the
she thought that.
inside with LaTanya Gray and Jake Sidney. And we pointed out Sidney as someone who needed to start booking it towards the back of the field, and he has. He's making a pass on LaTanya Gray now for 5th. But McCarran has been working tirelessly to try and pass this 16 car for the past couple of laps. Has not been able to do it, though. She just hasn't gotten the run she needed. And now Brian's going to get under. Brian's going to move up to 2nd, and they're going to shuffle out Charlie McCarran. Fitzmaurice going for 3rd. Sidney going for 4th. Zach Dearman is up here. Vinny Schulz is up here. Drivers we haven't mentioned that much in this race trying to appear here at the end and have a shot.
Brian's
Here comes
trying
Brian.
again.
He was able to get under Taps once. He's going to try and do it again, but again, he has less help on the bottom. He's got a couple of Hudson Motorsports cars back there, but they're not close enough to really make that much of an impact on the 3 car. LaTanya Gray is now going to split up the Hudson cars and move down to the bottom. Taps got a push, but not enough of a push to clear into 3.
Oh, big push that time.
The 19's all over the back of the 3 now. He might try and go for the lead himself.
Jake
They're going to be 3
Sidney.
wide. Jake Sidney in his first Lumen 500, getting a push from LaTanya Gray and Vinny Schulz. Down on the inside lane, we have 10 laps to go in this race.
That's going to break up Taps' dominance.
Yeah, Taps is now stuck up top. He needs to try and get a push. Sidney's going to go up and block him. And Taps is probably going to give Sidney a push down the front stretch. LaTanya Gray now leading the inside lane. How about what a sight this is? Can you believe it?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, the scenes if
She's
she
almost
wins.
in 2nd.
I don't even want to imagine the scenes if she wins.
I
For
can't
Sidney?
imagine that would be good scenes.
Sidney is now playing the control the lanes game here, as he's got 3 lanes of traffic behind him. But he's doing a good job of holding them all off so far. Gray on the inside, Brian in the middle, and Taps up top. And this pack of 23 is now gridlocked.
Not much movement going on.
There was some down the back straightaway there. I think that 14 car is not as good at leading a line as some of the other cars are. So she's kind of holding up the inside a bit. And that allowed Brian to get down to the inside. And Brian might have a shot at the lead here.
Though. No, he does not.
Sidney's able to cover the spot. Well, don't forget, these guys are very close on fuel as well. Fuel mileage is still a factor. Checking on JT Boyd, I think he might be going fast enough to not be a hazard. So we'll keep him on the racetrack. Here comes Taps. He's going to try and make the move on Jake Sidney for the lead.
Get his lead back.
Trying to look for a push from George Bryan, not getting it quite yet. But he's got the momentum down there. The 19 going to try and get a push from McCarran up top. 7 laps to go. And they are 2 by 2 throughout the first 4 rows. Sidney getting more of a push up top. Michael Harvin is now down on the bottom, so we got to watch out for the 55 car as well, your pole sitter. But Sidney is going to get the shove from McCarran, and that's going to put him back in front. And Taps is now going to get trapped in the middle as George Bryan's going to try and move back up to 2nd.
Brian's now got more help thanks to the 55 of Michael Harvin.
Bryan's going to cover 2nd place there, blocked both lanes behind him. And when will Brian try to make the move to get past the 19 of Jake Sidney? I mean, judging by the way these guys are going 200 miles an hour. They've been over 200 for this whole race pretty much. They're not, it doesn't look to me like they're thinking about saving fuel.
I don't think they are.
They seem like they're going for it. And who wouldn't in this situation? Big block by by Jake Sidney. I thought Brian was going to get underneath him there, but Sidney did not let him under. Now catching the lap car of JT Boyd. We'll see how much he plays a factor in this. Oh, he's forcing the 19 to go high.
Great move by the 19.
The 3 car going to be patient, go down to the inside.
77.
The top 2 lanes being held up a little bit by the 77. Latanya Gray going to move up into 3rd. This is great for the inside lane right now, as Boyd is definitely off the pace, but not as off the pace as those other 2 cars that we had pull in earlier were. But this will definitely make an effect on this outcome of the race. George Bryan and Latanya Gray trying to tandem up to Jake Sidney now, and here they come to the inside. Gray is not going to work with the 3. She tried to get underneath, but she wasn't able to there. And here comes the rest of the pack.
There goes Brian. He's trying it.
Brian to the inside of Jake Sidney. Latanya Gray trying to go up top. Darren Walker is going to close in on the inside, and he's going to try and give the 3-car a big shove going down the back. He's going to take it 3 wide down the back straight away. Darren Walker trying to go for it himself. He's going to get the help. They're crashing behind. Billy Smith.
They're wrecking behind.
Hard into the outside wall with JT Boyd. Smith down the racetrack. The caution is probably out. I'd imagine so. Back to the line. Jake Sidney got there first. Yellow is out. Will this race get back restarted, or was that the end?
Oh, wow. What a dramatic ending, if that's it.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know if we're getting back restarted. We got 3 laps to go. If you remember the duels, we had the caution come out with 4 to go. And we got a 1-lap shootout in all of that. We are going to try and get this thing back going, but it is possible that Jake Sidney's just won this race under caution. Oh my goodness. Billy Smith's car absolutely destroyed. And we will know next time by if this race is over. If the pace lights go out, we'll have a 1-lap shootout. If they don't, Jake Sidney, provided he can make it around under yellow, will be the winner of the 2025 Lumen 500. And now it's just a matter of watching and waiting. The lights went out. We're going to have a 1-lap shootout.
Oh, boy.
And here we are again. Just like in Duel 2. We are going to show you the replay of what happened to Billy Smith. And then we're going to decide the winner. Just a 1-lap shootout to end this thing. Oh boy. Well, here is our second and final caution of the day. Billy Smith and Karina Willis-Callaway make contact in turn 3. Maybe it looked like Billy Smith came down a bit while Karina came up. Karina is going to come back up the track, and then the 88 runs into the 2 of Rhea Whitcomb, hits the wall, and then the big hit right there with JT Boyd in the 77. I thought maybe Boyd had something to do with the cause of the accident due to him being a little off the pace, but he had nothing to do with it. He just had nowhere to go. It looked like Corbin Taps also might have gotten sideswiped by that, so just an unfortunate accident there for Billy Smith. And as you saw, the race is not over. So we're going to have a 1-lap shootout to decide this thing. Jake Sidney is the leader. We'll see if he'll be able to hold him off for the 1 lap. But unfortunate for last year's Lumen 500 winner there. Just 2 cars going for the same piece of real estate late in the race, and they just crossed paths.
Heading down the back stretch here, I think Karina slides up a bit, Billy slides down a bit. Karina saves it. Oh, such a big hit there by Boyd. He had nowhere to go. But poor Billy Smith, incidental contact with Karina sends him off the racing surface. He can't hang on to it, and unfortunately, that's what ends his race.
Welcome back. Here in the 2025 Lumen 500, we are going to have one lap to decide the winner here at Daytona. Billy Smith and JT Boyd are both out of the race now after they got collected in turn 3, which you just saw on your screen. Jake Sidney, the rookie, is out in front for Hudson Motorsports. Darren Walker in second. He's finished second in this race before. He does not want to do it again. George Bryan in third. Tyler Landry in fourth. LaTanya Gray in fifth. All of them and more have a shot to write their name in history. And it's all going to be decided in one lap. Pace car is going to peel off, and Jake Sidney will lead the field back to the green. We are underway for the final time in the Lumen 500. Bit of a slow start from the 19. Will the 8 have a shot to get past him? It's going to take them about half a lap to get up to speed, and then we'll see the real moves be made in turns 3 and 4. Bryan and Gray get shuffled up top. The McPickey Motorsports duo of Landry and Barry to the inside. Behind this top 2, will Darren Walker have anything for the 19 car? He's staying tucked behind him for now.
I don't think so.
Coming through 3 and 4. They're getting close for third behind. If the 8's going to have a shot, it's going to have to be off of turn 4. Jake Sidney leading the field, coming out of the final corner. Walker does not have enough of a run, and a rookie's going to go to victory lane in the Lumen 500. Jake Sidney is the winner here at Daytona.
What a performance. Absolute elation for Jake Sidney right now.
Second career win in the Lumen Stock Car Invitational, and this one, probably the biggest one of his whole career. Boy, you have got to be happy for him. He's got to be fired up in the car right now.
Mm-hmm.
What a win.
No doubt.
Darren Walker, for the second time, has finished second in this race. If he had a little bit better restart, he might have had it. And that's the two sides of the Lumen 500. Elation from Jake Sidney. And you got to think Darren Walker, going through his mind, he's thinking of everything that he could have done there. But there wasn't that much. There was only one lap. Maybe if there was another lap, the 8 would have gotten by the 19, but we'll never know that. And it was that race to the caution that was so crucial for Jake Sidney in terms of winning this race. Jake Sidney getting the win over Darren Walker by less than 1/10 of a second. Tyler Landry finishes third. George Bryan fourth. So for all intents and purposes, Anthony, that was a pretty good pick. He finished top 5. Tim Barry continues his run of dominance and finishes 5th. Michael Harvin 6th. LaTanya Gray, that's an upset right there. She gets a top 10 in the Lumen 500. Lakin Herndon, Vinny Scholes, Jacob Lopez round out the top 10. Shout out to Martin Swain and Rhea Whitcomb.
Almost finished top 10.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I said Martin Swain almost finished top 10.
Yeah, Martin Swain, Rhea Whitcomb for Martin Swain's race team, finishing 11th and 13th. That's a great day for that team. Ashley Blake finally gets a decent finish. It's only a 14th, but given the last 2 months for her, she'll probably take that.
Totally.
Looks like Joanna Clark blew up at some point, either on the last lap or under caution coming to the last lap, so that's a shame for her. So 29 cars finished the race here today. Cooper Spur's gamble definitely didn't pay off. He finished well off the pace. He might have gotten held up by Joanna Clark blowing up, but there you see all the drivers who failed to finish the race. But what a race that was. A dramatic ending to that one. And Anthony, what did you think?
It was absolute cinema. it was a very good race, very competitive. A lot of lead changes, a lot of battling for the lead, and a lot of drama as well, especially when that big crash happened, and Tejima got the damage and that definitely affected his finish. Very unfortunate for him. And there were a lot of comers and goers as well. It's Chanel, who we thought had a chance to win it, ended up 23rd. So something happened to that car. Charlie McCarron ended up 20th. But then you have like some drivers that were at the back, like George Bryan is a great example. Latanya Gray is a great story overall. So is Rhea Whitcomb. Some of these open drivers ending up with great finishes. Overall, just a great Lumen 500 through and through.
Yeah, this was definitely a great race. I'd say on par with last year. Maybe last year was a little bit better, but it was pretty close and very dramatic all the way until the last lap. And ultimately, that's all I want out of a Lumen 500. Definitely a great race here today, and I'm always excited to run this event. I get hyped up for this event for months, so it's just a I love running this race. It's amazing. Uh, but yeah, congratulations to Hudson Motorsports and Jake Sidney. Definitely the biggest win for both driver and team. Hudson Motorsports has won quite a few races, but they've never won the Lumen 500. And this is definitely a big moment for them and that young driver. And you got to feel good for them. But you got to feel bad for some of these other drivers. Billy Smith getting taken out late in the race. He probably had a car that could have won, but and Akira Tajima, like you mentioned, got that damage. He had a car that could have won. JT Boyd had a pretty fast car all the speed weeks. Kevin DuPont, Jack Gino. Yeah, a lot of heavy hitters. Did not have great runs here today, but still a lot of great stories up in the top 10, top 15. But yeah, that's going to do it for the Lumen 500. Next race is going to be at the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois. So that's going to be a fun race. Last year we had a last lap pass in that race. It's going to be an exciting race as well. Anthony, maybe give us a bit of a preview headed to that race.
Chicago. Um, very entertaining track. Like a 1.5 mile racetrack. I haven't seen a lot of races at Chicagoland, to be honest, but hopefully it's a good race when you guys get there.
Yeah, they go pretty fast around that track too. We were going pretty fast today. We were going over 200 miles an hour in the pack for most of it. Average race speed got dragged down by a couple of yellows, but it was still pretty high. Uh, but they go pretty fast to Chicagoland too, about 190 at the fastest, I believe. But so that's definitely going to be a fun race as well. But this race was also pretty great. It was it's always an honor getting to run this race every year, and it's an honor that some of you guys choose to spend time out of your day to watch it. But and thank you too, Anthony, for helping me not just for this race co-commentate, but also throughout the entirety of Speed Weeks. I'm sure I'm sure getting the whole weekend was great for you, considering this is I believe your hometown track, or at least one of them.
One of them.
So
Yeah,
but
very
yeah,
very exciting.
yeah.
Very very exciting racetrack.
Yeah. Thank you again, Anthony, for helping me co-commentate this race, and thank you to everyone that decided to watch it and any other events that happened during the Speed Weeks. And on behalf of Anthony McClure, this is Brennan Wilmington of the Left Turn Network signing out. Here are your point standings after race number 10 of 28, which will be on your screen right now.